up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 16.1, Gold Digger, where we are covering the short story Something Borrowed. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello.
And Jess.
Part of me is everybody here because if we're just here, I want to take you off for coming to the wedding and appreciate you coming even more. There's lots of better things to do. Not a word of this to really no man. I'm going to wear. I'm not. Hi.
That was mostly legible.
It's been a minute since I actually listened to the song.
Intelligible?
Intelligible, yes, that's the word. Thank you. You want to try it again? Do it again.
No.
Yeah, come on.
No.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling. Harry's friends, Billy and Georgia, are about to get married. There's just one little problem. Georgia is nowhere to be seen, and there's a revenge-hungry faery on the loose.
So we have brought this up before, but this is where we found that information.
Where Billy and Georgia got their names?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that intro says that. And I made the mistake of looking up what the actors look like, much to the character's detriment, because
Now
really
are you picturing them?
don't like the dude. Like,
Georgia's gorgeous.
yeah. Billy?
Gorgeous George?
Yeah, I'm intentionally not zooming in on the photo.
I'm trying not to. It's in my notes, so if you
Yeah.
subscribe to Patreon, you get to see the pictures of what I...
The one she selected.
When she selected,
monstrosity.
yeah.
And those were the flattering pictures.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I never really did watch that show, so I was like, I feel like I have like a vague memory, but not really.
Well, and the actors are
they were.
handsome enough, but like that particular actor has like plays a lot of roles that just rub me the wrong way. He is annoying, which means he's doing an effective job as an actor.
Yeah, right.
My biggest issue with this is that Harry is a massive hypocrite. And also a dramatic baby.
This is new.
Steel pierced my leg. Shut the fuck up.
I know, I love it. It makes me chuckle. I enjoy that intro.
And really, do you really think that needle is steel?
Probably. What else do you make a needle out of?
It is wonderfully
Probably
dramatic.
stainless steel.
Yeah? Maybe.
I doubt it's like pure silver or anything.
No, I was thinking more nickel or something cheaper than... I guess steel's not that
I don't know.
expensive.
I feel
but-
like stainless steel would be a quick Google search. What do they make needles out of?
Well, and it's just it's not even a needle. It's just like
The pin.
yeah, well, the marking pins. It's like those little plastic capped
Yeah.
sewing
Steel,
pins.
steel, nickel, or brass.
There you go.
Brass if you're fancy.
I feel like brass would be cheaper. Isn't brass supposed to be less?
Bronze.
Oh, is bronze the cheap one and brass is better quality?
I think brass is
Maybe.
a mix of like bronze and... What is brass? We're so stupid.
The things we go on tangents on.
A metal alloy primarily composed of copper and zinc. Okay, thanks. Google, I didn't even have that.
Either way, he is being very dramatic. I was like, oh, he's in a fight with a
Well, that's what I love. That
with a tailor.
supposed to be right.
Well, this is why he's such a hypocrite, because he does this whole conversation with Billy in this moment. And he's like, normally I wouldn't be discussing the supernatural in front of regular vanilla mortals, but...
He doesn't speak any English.
He doesn't speak a single, like... And I'm like, okay, but isn't that like what James Bond or Indiana Jones or like... they all just pretended that they didn't speak the language
So they
that
could
would
gain
just
an
talk...
advantage?
Exactly. I'd be the smartest... He's a,
I even wrote
Russian
in my
operative
notes.
spy, and I know
Who is
to kill the person
communicating
I
with this
know.
guy so he's doing his job?
Red court spy.
That too. Yeah,
He
red
has
court
to-
spy. That's kosher.
Better than the pizza delivery guy, right?
Right?
That's what I mean, though, is I was like, I get what you're trying to say here, but you, of all people, should not be that trusting. You should be like, I'm in the middle of a war that I started right now, and they have ways through the never
Honestly,
and
though-
plans everywhere, and
Honestly, though, it's still taking Harry this long. The first few years of the war, he's a total shit soldier, spy. He might as well be a tinker, because the rest of it is like he's always like, oh, I should look out. Oh, I shouldn't talk to me. Oh, I shouldn't make friends with the white court.
this is after we've already had him being like, the pizza delivery guy tried to blow
yeah,
him
that's
up with
what
a
I
bomb.
mean. I'm
Yeah,
like, it takes
exactly.
him a really long time before he finally starts taking this shit seriously and is like,
How many
okay,
attempts on
maybe
your
I
life
should apply
before you
some
care?
strategy here. Anyways, I love it. I think it's cute. I love how he's like, Steel, pierce my... And you just know, too, you're like, oh, this is... Like, that's part of it. You know this is too, like, over-dramatic for you're like, oh...
Well, and it fits the rest of the
there's a punchline
formula for the books. Like,
coming.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
You little fucking
Yeah,
dick.
yeah. Like, oh, you know, there's...
But I mean, it is a short story, so like,
Really?
haha,
Kill
To
him.
the point.
haha.
But you know what? I would totally do that, too. I could see, like, me and Jessica, and I would be like, just kill her. Just be like,
I was gonna say though,
look.
what kind of a professional is stabbing someone with these pins? Like, I feel like that's their job to be good at not doing that.
I still want to know who's doing the translations for him so he knows what to do. Because you don't just walk into an establishment to a guy that doesn't speak English and just
He knows
stand there
his
and be
job,
like,
so he just looks at
Apparently
you.
you do.
He just looks at you.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, disgusting. He just starts ripping your clothes off you.
and stabbing you. That's why he's stabbing you. He's like, you're ugly.
But at the same time, Harry's like, I haven't had somebody rip my clothes off in a long time, so I'm pros and cons.
So we do find out that Harry is standing in for Kirby
Yeah.
as the best man because they had an incident.
Kirby got his shit rocked.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So they...
I was going to say that you're asking who stabs with. It's like going to the hairdresser. I always figured they would be. I'm like, oh, they do people's hair all. No, they fucking rip that shit out with a fucking comb and don't give them like no fucks. And you have to tip them afterwards. So I fully believe that. I mean, they'll probably try to be careful, but I fully believe you're getting stabbed a bunch of times too.
Oh, they're more likely to cut themselves. Those
Maybe overall.
Those scissors are sharp.
But it's one of those things where, like, anytime you twitch or sneeze, right, don't move.
Next time you meet a hairdresser, check out their fingers here because they probably have a bunch of scars.
Oh, probably.
I don't go to hairdressers. I come to you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I own the only hairdresser that I know. I own a pair of her scissors, but she stole my fucking sewing machine, bitch.
Oh, that's not a fair trade at all. So, yeah,
Yeah, you have to
Screw
steal
this.
more
I was
from her.
mad about
Fuck
that.
it.
Yeah.
She stole my skateboard too.
She's the worst.
She is.
That was really fucking awkward. Me skateboarding down the stream while trying to hold on.
That's why she needed the skateboard. She put the sewing machine on the skateboard and then she pushed it down.
Oh, okay.
And it was
I
a fancy
that-
one
was
because
that
you could use that they had these attachments that would do embroidered patterns with it.
Oh, I
those
thought the
things are nice.
skateboard was a fancy one.
No, that was actually custom built myself. It was an Emily Strange, and I made it thematic so they had monster trucks and then Spitfire wheels that also like matched. It was a fucking expensive skateboard.
I had a nice
Oh,
sewing
jeez,
machine
yeah.
if it did embroidery, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Barbie scooter and you could fold down the scooter part and then you had a Barbie skateboard.
Although those hairdressing scissors are the gift that keeps giving, but they are fucking sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And she also did have scars across her fingers because those things are sharp.
Yeah, you should go steal some more shit from her. Make it
right.
even. But Kirby,
And she remembered the point she was going to make about
I was?
getting shit beat out of him. You were trying to remember a word or something.
Oh yeah, you guys went on another tangent, so go ahead.
Okay. Sorry.
It wasn't good.
Okay.
It was a badly made summary that I didn't write
Okay.
in here properly.
I was just as long as we didn't take you away from
Nope,
it.
I know they're good.
The alphas are everything that you want Harry to be. Just this group of supernatural friends, and they just all work
Right.
together, and they love each other, and they're just here
like a
for each
little
other.
adventure party.
Exactly, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And they clearly were all out celebrating Billy's bachelor party, and then they
Shit happened. Duty,
walked into some
morals.
supernatural thing, and even that was just like,
Good Samaritan.
this is just what we do. This is our lives. Even
It doesn't matter that we're out. It doesn't matter that we've had a couple drinks. It doesn't matter that Billy's getting married tomorrow. We will still just throw ourselves in and.
Well, and not even. it doesn't even come across as like, oh my God, can't we just have one night? It comes across as like, fuck yeah, this is the best way to end this night.
That's what I mean, right? Yeah, it's not even like
Exactly.
they're just like, all right.
And then you've got Harry raining on their parade, and it's like,
You could have been hurt.
well, exactly. And this whole, like, as we go into this conversation, as Harry's lecturing them about how irresponsible it was and you can't fight everything, you need to be more careful. It's like, what did you actually expect them to do in this moment, though? Like, outside of you and Michael, they're probably the most informed at this point and capable. Like, you just like...
And again, they're a group. They're not even
And
like
they're a
individual.
group.
I mean, they have their individual moments, but
So I know you were asking a little bit because I'd never read these books before.
I am very interested,
and this
actually, yeah.
is a really nice transition point that I was missing between the novels of them maturing. Because even when we get towards the end, when they redescribe Georgia and the description of her, it was like, oh, like you and him and even Billy calling Dresden out of being like, we're not fucking children
I
anymore.
love this moment. I love how he pointed. He's like, hey, don't belittle Kirby's sacrifice.
Right.
I was like,
So this is a very a nicer transition that you don't get if you're just reading the novels on
yes.
That is very fair. Harry's a little bit, I don't want to say selfish, but he's single-minded during his bigger novels, because obviously it's like 85 guys are trying to kill me. I haven't slept in 3 days. I have to save the world and stop a war and deliver
And my
some
friends are
stupid
being so
flowers with-
annoying and make me try to eat and sleep and get in danger's way. And I just want them all to
Exactly.
stay home with fluffy puppies.
But it's just exactly getting to see this moment of both them getting older and this, like most of the short stories do, it slows things down a little bit enough to get that sort of extra world building, character building. It's not 85 bad guys, it's just one bad guy, so we have time to have a conversation.
Yeah.
It also provides character development also for Harry because you see him absorb this feedback from these people and change.
Which I said it before, he's not much older than the alphas, right?
Yeah.
No, but like I say, there is that thing, like, again, as adults or parents or, you know what I mean? I'm like, it is hard sometimes to, like, oh yeah, you're not a little kid anymore.
Well, and
You
he
know,
also has
I-
this overdeveloped sense of justice, and so he makes things black and white. And to his mind, children versus...
He does,
Well,
yeah.
I don't even think it's almost like that, but I think it's less of the children thing or less of the age thing necessarily, and it's more just Harry's like, I'm in charge of saving the world. If anyone else
Victim or
tries to
not.
get in my way of that, I failed myself and I failed my duty and I haven't protected Chicago, so you guys need to stop putting yourselves in danger. But obviously it's not a one-man show and you're actually reliant on, and we also know he relies on Murphy to even handle supernatural cases now that don't require him, because he's like, you've done enough, you and your guys are good with the small fry.
But it's nice to see that, like that change.
It's nice to see, but it's also clearly a struggle for Harry to actually let go and accept
Yeah,
that.
but that's what I mean a little bit. Like, I think because Murphy, the first time he ever met Murphy was a cop. Like, yeah, she was still just a beat cop, but you know what I mean? Murphy was already an adult with an adult dangerous job and training, and right? So Murphy has always been sort of that level above him as far as...
Yeah, a little bit more equal.
Yeah, that was already sort of her job. And so I think it does, like you say, like, there's a difference sort of between in how you think of people and how, right? I mean, you can look and be like, oh, well, I know my kid's not 5 anymore. Oh, I know my niece isn't. But you're still like, oh my God, like this little kid I used to, and if you only see them in fits and spurts and things like that, you know what I mean? It's hard sometimes to...
Oh, listen, I don't have kids, but
Bridge
it
that
just
gap
seems a little bit
between-
ridiculous to me. Like, yes, okay, he met them as kind of dorky kids who didn't know about the supernatural and were kind of getting taken advantage of, and they were, you know, a little bit cringe at the beginning when they were all like
Yeah.
trying to be those bike or whatever. I get that, but it's implied that Harry has regular game nights. He hangs out with these guys. It's not just, you know, like Lydia or Mortimer or
only
Monica,
pop
or these
up
people who
every-
maybe come to him when they have a supernatural problem. But the alphas clearly are like, no, we're just fucking friends, man. We don't just like call you as just like a guy in the know in the business. We're
Yeah,
friends.
they do socialize.
It's almost like he sort of equates inexperience to youthfulness, and like he sort of mistakes them, like in earlier parts. Like it's kind of hard to
think
tell
that's
because
why
yes,
it's-
they are about the same age as him, but they don't have the experience. But now they're like, no, we
have
have the
experience.
experience. You can fuck off now.
I get all that. It just seems very unfair and not really justified. This whole like, oh, but it's so hard once you've met someone a certain way. I'm like, I don't feel that the way that they met is that, like, he should have just never been that crazy protective in the first place. Like, I get to a certain degree, but once they can turn into wolves and tear things apart, you have to have a little bit of like, okay, you guys have a fair enough
Part of
handle
me
on
sort of
this.
wonders if it's course correction on Jim Butcher's writing process is
Yeah.
maturing as well. Like
That's also fair, and I mean,
Because this is more nuanced, whereas before it was a little bit more two-dimensional.
like we don't see the alphas that often thus far. We like outside of full moon, it's very brief. You know, he needed to borrow I think he needed to borrow the van and call of them briefly in the last novel. But I think that's kind of the most interaction that we like get in the moment. Otherwise, it's kind of just like, I went and saw them. But
Butcher himself says in this interaction, I feel like they haven't been getting enough screen time. You know, so yeah,
exactly.
But I don't know. I could also see it being a little bit of, like you say, once you could turn into wolf. I'm like, had that been his first introduction, had he met this pack of like massive, his literal first introduction to them, had it been when they were all this pack of like massive werewolves, that might have been, I think, a different, like you say, first impression than this room full of pimply-faced kids. But
I met you when you were young, so I get to treat you this way forever. It just seems a little bit stupid. And I get there's a sort of first impression for everyone, but it just doesn't seem that justified. It was like in 3 days, they went from kids to fully grown werewolves. Get over it, bro.
See, I don't know. Then maybe it's your phrasing there, because you're like, I don't think that Harry thinks he gets to treat them like. I think that that's just it, is that he doesn't realize he's still viewing them as that. Not that he's like...
He specifically says, they came across a ghoul terrorizing an old woman, and it was a really hard fight. Like, what did you expect? You guys should have just stepped back and not involved yourselves, or you should have just left me alone to deal with it, or you should, like, you guys are, like, putting yourselves in unnecessary risk. It's like, that's not what they're doing. They're not, like, knocking on Bianca's door of whoever the fuck took her place and being like, knock, 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 we're here to fight shit. They're like, we just patrol our fucking campus and save people when people come preying on...
And it's not like they don't know the consequences of their actions. They know exactly what they're getting into. They consent to it. They are adults.
I think maybe you're taking it a little too far from how I took it, because he's not saying that you couldn't at all. He's like, you guys need to be more careful. He then goes on to be like, yeah, it was a tough fight because we were all coming from the bar and we're all fucking lit. So I feel like that's part of it. It's not just the fact that they took on a ghoul. He's like, you guys have to be more careful. Like, you guys can't just be smart about, defend the little old lady, of course. And then again, being that you were all like 3 sheets to the wind or shit-faced, maybe you shouldn't have just gone in, balls to the wall. Maybe you should have planned.
Fair enough.
That's all I feel it's more that.
I can see your point of view on that, definitely. Yeah. But I'm also looking at it from a perspective of repetitive behavior from past.
Yeah, and that definitely seems to be like, you're always nagging us about this shit.
Yeah, that's part of it, but I feel like
and it does have an air of mother henning.
Yeah, it does, but I feel like that was a little bit, it was not entirely that he's like, you guys can't fight demons at all. It was just like, guys, that was really fucking dumb. Well, you should have taken 2 seconds to...
Apparently he was involved in it too, so kettle black.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, is just the fact that Billy's fine. Billy ended up with a few bruises. Kirby's in the hospital in a body cast. They're like, maybe we could have done this and Kirby would have ended up with a few bruises instead of his leg shattered against a wall. That's kind of more what I'm saying.
My thinking is that, yes, when you have these like regular vanilla mortals and they're throwing themselves into danger, there's a little bit more room for lecture. And maybe even the wardens that he's in charge of. And it's like, no, you have to listen to me lecture, you bitch. Yeah. But when it comes to like, he couldn't give this speech to Murphy. He couldn't give this speech to Michael.
Yeah.
And it seems unfair that he does feel justified in giving this speech to Billy, because I feel like he knows that they've proven themselves. And Billy even says here, bitch, we've saved your life fucking twice
And
now.
that, I think, is a lot of the point of this.
There's a lot of thematic things that are going on in this story as well. And this is, I think, the first instance of it, but it keeps coming up again, because we'll eventually come up to the point where Harry asks Billy if Georgia would have been upset that they had done it, and he instantly is like, no, she would have been the first one in the fight, basically. Like, so
and that's what I think. I think a lot of this probably is also just sort of that plot device to give him right there. It's like, oh my God, and Billy being able to say, hey, we're not kids anymore. We're not these chubby, pimply-faced little teenagers you met 4 years ago. Yeah, we can look after ourselves. We have saved your life. We can, even if we did do it kind of dumb and we could have been smarter about last night, you don't get to say anymore. We get to make these decisions. These are our choices. And you're right. And it's that point of Harry being like, oh yeah, you're right. I guess I do have to accept that you're allowed to do these and make bad, like, again, he knows that they're not constantly running around with their heads up their asses. Usually
I will say,
I think this novel, or I think this short story acknowledges life changes. Like, the whole thing's about a wedding. Like, it's...
Yes, and that, exactly.
Everyone's
like,
growing
we
up.
have
growing
to
up,
they're getting married,
Harry has to change, too.
Harry has to accept. And it is, like, I admit, and
Billy is honestly give him a lot of credit for his emotional intelligence, because both here and in many, many novels to come, there's a lot of times when he has to put up with Harry being just a hard-headed jerk, and he's able to just be like, breathe.
Yeah.
Listen, we're all... Billy doesn't have the same quick to anger that Harry does.
Yeah.
And he's very good at managing Harry and being like, you're being a dick right now. We're still friends, but you're being a dick right now, and I need you to tone it down. And Harry's...
Different even from Murphy, because, again, Murphy's always been the small chick in a man's world, so she does have to. So even sometimes she's like, Dresden, you misogynistic, chauvinistic, right? Whereas Billy can be like, no, Harry, that's not what we're, right?
And we have seen that in the past where he's like, where Harry's not in a good place and he's already been taking care of him.
That's true. We have seen that,
the voice of
reason. So I think that's a very
and,
good point.
Yeah, I do. I like Billy a lot for that reason. He's very... Harry will actually say the words himself later in this book. We're not on that page yet, so I can't quote it directly, but he says more or less, George is kind of in charge of everything when it comes to, like, the logistics and everything like that. But Billy's really good about, like, the pack part of it.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Yeah, he's the war strategist, and whereas, she's sort of the den mother. He's the papa, too, but
it's good, and it's, like, everything that I want from werewolf stories.
Yeah. Well, I love how, too, after all of that Harry came out pretty unscathed, too, except for this, like, massive headache. And he's like, but that had nothing to do with the fight. Those are the fucking Jell-O shots. It's like, Harry, how old are you?
I was like, if you can stick a couple of werewolves between you and a ghoul, you better come out of it, okay?
That, too, but I love that, because have we... wait, what book are we on? Okay, yeah, so he is...
It is spring 2006. He just turned 30.
Okay, I was going to say he is... But yeah, so that's still not...
I don't know.
Although Harry's always been kind of a like he always says he never has done a lot of drinking or anything like that. But it's kind of funny that I'm like, I know you've lived hard,
shots,
but you're still barely out of your 20s and you can't handle Jell-O shots on
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's all them sugars. Like, it doesn't matter, like, how much experience you have. You're going to load up on sugars while you're drinking. You're going to feel like shit in the morning.
I've really started to experience hangovers for the first time. Like, I get it now.
I guess that's fair, too.
I learned from last year not to feed you too much. Sorry.
I'm getting... I've passed my prime, okay?
Yeah, that's true. It's
I swear, I thought you could handle it.
At one point, I was able to. Not anymore.
That was a lot. If I recall, it was like a lot of straight alcohol,
she just like punk. Like, there was four in a minute.
Yeah.
It was like, damn, actually.
Although, all this being said, I don't know that I've ever actually had a Jell-O shot. I've done lots of shots in my life, but I'm like, I don't know that I've ever done a Jell-O shot.
You can make them particularly strong, but because they have enough sugars, you don't necessarily they're a little bit more palatable.
Mine all does
hate
too.
Jell-O. Jell-O makes me gag, and I've still taken many, many Jell-O shots, and it's almost better because you just want to get rid of it as fast as possible.
I don't know, I'm just saying it's funny. Like, one of the most common things that everybody...
Less aftertaste, I think, too.
In my...
Okay, I'll make Jell-O for Easter.
New Easter tradition, Jell-O shots. No, I'm just saying it's funny, though, that I was like, actually, I don't think
Finally,
I've
something
ever...
vegan, gluten-free, keep the whole family... Are they vegan if they're gelatin? Maybe not.
No, they're not.
Well, great. We still can't feed the whole family.
That's okay.
Gelatin is, I think, from bone marrow.
Exactly.
What vegans do we have?
I don't know. It was just...
I think we're good. I think, yeah.
Because at work, we have to do a lot of vegan dishes for the lactose people, and we always forget. They're like, wait, no, straight meat is okay with you guys. It's just we keep making them vegan so there's no dairy products in them.
Yeah.
But it's not actually the vegan part that matters.
That's like, I find it funny. Again, like I said, I watched a lot of Hell's Kitchen over the last while. But it's like, they did some, I'm watching like the early seasons, like started from season 1. And so they're like, for the first time, we're doing like a sweet 16 birthday party. And then they're like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, if you turn a fucking 16-year-old girl vegetarian. And I love it how, like, it just doesn't matter in this context, right? So much of pop culture society, right? You have to be like, oh, vegan or vegetarian. And Ramsey's like, fuck this shit. I mean, he does have vegetarian and vegan, or I don't know about vegan. I know he does sometimes have vegetarian options, but I actually think it's so funny where he's just like you'll hear him making jokes about that. He's like, goddamn fucking like vegetarians or something like that, or don't turn this girl like a vegetarian, and you're just like, yes for the carnivores. Like, Ramsey's like, no fucks, like, I don't care how you killed this lamb, just cook it properly.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, there you go. I stand corrected. It's a lot longer since I hit my 30s. So I guess maybe 28 is peak. So I guess maybe Harry has every right.
Either way.
Harry manages to turn it around.
Yeah, he uses Yoda speak to, like, diffuse the situation.
I like how he still manages to be like, I'm the one being a dick right now, but you're clearly stressed about the wedding. And I'm like, no, you're still a dick, Harry.
Right, yeah. I'm a trained investigator. Instincts honed by years of observation warn me that
Distraction.
So this is one of the worst things about it, is that all the alphas are growing up. They're going to graduate school. They're all going to move away. How are they going to be a pack if they all have to fuck off different places? And Billy's all stressed and nervous about it. And also there's a whole wedding thing to
getting
do.
married. Oh my God.
That's stressful. Like, that's one of the, like, that's a huge, yeah.
We've all seen
Milestone,
Buffy.
basically.
We've all seen Teen Wolf. We've seen every supernatural show that starts in high school. And then they all get to college and they're like, this shit's hard. We all have to go get jobs.
Yeah.
Being a Slayer doesn't pay. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the after college part where they're like, okay, so now it's you don't have
Double
you don't have a
palace.
unifying force. Like, I know from experience, like I don't interact with any of the people that I went to college with, no matter how close I was with them. I love them dearly, but that could also be ADHD. I don't know.
There's a number of reasons, right? But exactly, there's
always that.
People change and grow apart. People move physically, geologically, miles and miles apart.
So there's a good chance he's
People take
right.
different
Like,
yeah.
he's going to lose a bunch of these people.
It's
Yeah.
a fair stress.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, unless you're Daddy Dave, nobody keeps that close to high school and college contacts. I swear he still knows every single one of them and interacts with them on like a near daily basis, but
I have
he's the
one
only
person. One person.
Yeah.
I'm beyond like Facebook, like acquaintances.
I have like a couple of high school
Gala.
friends that I have stayed, Daddy Dave being one of them.
Yeah. But
And
in fairness, I knew you were in grade
Her other
6.
godparents, and that's about, but very...
I am incredibly lucky that this year I'm literally celebrating 20 years with my best friends.
Oh,
but-
and you have like the craziest, like tight-knit friends.
But that is still a relatively small group. That is still the four other than...
There's 4,
Yeah, but that's still
including me, and
impressive.
then all of the
That's
partners.
like because you're
Yeah.
not that you're on the shade of the 30 side. That's still really fucking impressive.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying.
That
To
is
be
still-
celebrating 20 years of friendship that you talk to on the daily basis, and I'm still in my 20s. I'm very proud of it.
That is unusual, yeah. But like you say, all the rest of your other high school friends, there's a few you periodically see and maybe like or mention on Facebook now and again. But other than that, like you don't.
And yes, and a big part, is that we all do still live in the same city. I'm sure if one of us were to move away, it would become significantly harder to.
For sure is exactly, is that you all are still at rub. But again, once you start marrying off and start having babies and those are going to make different impacts to your relationships and stuff too. But anyways.
So this is when we have the whole this is like
You getting some cool
motivational
things, Billy?
pep talk. You know how to answer for Georgia, and you that means you're good enough on the big stuff, so don't worry about the small stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
I thought you were going to say something about love. It's like,
Who,
shit.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, I do like
First
that.
of all,
I do like that he like addresses the sort of socioeconomical differences between Billy and George. Ja. I got the Bill. Yeah. Wrong one to drop.
Okay, do you know all the members of the Alphas?
No, I did these two.
did you mean?
Could you name them all, Mom?
There is Andy, Marcy, Kirby, Billy, Georgia.
Why do they all are IE?
I don't
Is
know.
that to make
'cause they
them
were all
sound
in college.
inexperienced?
I know he mentions Alex in here. I don't know if I recall him from other stories.
Alexi.
And Cindy, Tommy, Mitchell, Phil, and Greg, apparently.
God, that's like 90% of them have an IE at the end.
They're college kids.
They
It's
were
just called
college.
that
They
way.
were Billy and Cindy and
Tommy, Kirby.
At IC.
Andy.
So,
MICKEY
Oh, I was thinking the
GHOUL.
ooh, the magic mirror. And I see Kaylee and
Romper Room. Yeah. Anyways,
But you were at okay. You had a point though.
so in summer night, they're 12 strong. Mitchell, Alex, Tommy, and Kirby went to the bachelor party. And presumably, more or less, the girls were off with
Georgia.
Georgia. But I'm just like, love Harry. Love him so much. He's the main character. He's got to be here. I'd still think I'd be a little bit pissed if I'm like Mitchell or not Andy, Mitchell or
any of the other
Alex,
officers.
and I got passed over for Harry, and I'd be like, we're fucking with your ass every day, you motherfucker. I get why Kirby was number one, but
maybe
like
there's
for
still a
Harry to be
little
number two, I'd be like,
residual hero worship.
Yeah, exactly.
That they're all like, okay, how do I do this diplomatically? Well, everybody loves Harry.
to be fair, it would be hard to choose a new best man. It's like, okay, everyone knows Kirby's my best, but then how am I supposed to choose between the rest of you losers? And
Yeah,
I'm like,
or
I'm going
again,
with
you
Harry.
know, maybe it just, right? He'd
Who's the most popular?
He'd
Harry!
already aimed them like groomsmen and ushers.
Everyone
and it was
pulled straws last night after.
it's-
it was
yeah.
We pulled Kirby's collarbone out, and then whoever got the largest piece. Isn't that wishbone? Wishbone, not collarbone.
Wishbone, yeah, that's, yeah. And this, Jessica, is why people don't want to celebrate holidays with you.
They had a lot of Jello shots. No,
I would
shitty's
too if
hungover.
they're going to rip my collarbone out.
Oh, we don't have wishbones. Well, I don't know what they just said.
Yes, we're not turkeys, Jessica.
Yeah, we have a lot of bones in our body.
If Matt were in a grave, he just turned. Mr. Science is mad at you, I can tell.
Newsflash, you beaks don't have
I'm a
wishbones.
biologist. How am I supposed to know that?
Oh, no.
And I'm not an anthropology person either, or a doctor, or anything else that would know the human body's bones.
I like to pretend I'm a sociologist occasionally.
Say sociopath.
Hey. Probably accurate, but I don't say it out loud.
Takes one to know.
Oh,
Two.
let's just fast forward through this, okay? Hi, Eve. How are you?
Bitchy. That's how Eve is.
Okay, do any of us really know somebody that is actually like this? Do you?
No.
Like, this is, like, I mean, maybe.
Maybe not
I'm willing to
quite
give the benefit
as
of the doubt. Do I know somebody this
overt.
two-dimensionally, like...
Yeah.
That's a lot of, like...
I was going to say maybe not quite this overt. I don't know if I know anybody who would be like, you're ruining her life by marrying her.
And
but I'm like,
perhaps we're just a little bit too Canadian in this point. Like,
that could be some of it. But I do feel like some of these people are very much in the like manipulative, gaslighty. Oh,
I mean, I've definitely dated them, but it's never been that overt.
That's what I mean. I know more people like this, but in a stupid context rather than like malicious or mean context. Like I know some people that are just straight up just so fucking dumb when they talk, and they're just like, and in that way they come across as rude because they just got no social.
My sister's in-laws are apparently this fucking rude. When her second marriage in her 40s, and to, again, somebody else who's actually even a few years older than her, might even be as much as 10 years. How old is Misha? Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, apparently so again, grown children and siblings and all this kind of stuff. And they'd been split from his first wife for years before they ever met and started dating, let alone got married. And apparently, yeah, the kids like fucking hated her and wouldn't talk to her. The brothers all fucking hated her and wouldn't talk to her. They didn't want to invite them to any, like his parents, I think, were okay. They were the only ones that ever treated. But yeah, like she stopped going. They used to do like a dim sum like every Sunday. And she stopped going because she's like, they all fucking hate me. They don't want to talk to me. They just make digs. So some people are that overtly nasty.
Right. Well, I only have one that's similar to this, but she never, it was somebody, like my friend's mother, and she never did it to my face.
Yeah.
But to my friend was like, this is the child of the devil. Animals are afraid of her. Children are afraid of her.
Okay, but that's because she's ginger.
Touche.
Yeah, where's the part we're supposed to disagree with?
The funniest part was that her little dog would like pee.
And your little dog, too.
Her little dog would get so excited and happy to see me, it would pee itself. And then her sister, who was like quite young at the time, was also just like, you're the coolest person I've ever met. Like,
That's why Mom hated you. Her kids thought you were cooler than she was. But yeah,
but she never did it to my face. But she also did very malicious things behind my back, but never to my face.
I definitely know more people like that. Like, or again, like the sort of backhanded, like, oh, oh, that's what you're going to wear? No,
Yeah.
I guess it looks fine. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know more of that rather than people who are like, oh, you're going to wear that? Like, you look like an ass, but...
I personally can't relate to that because I've never really walked into a room and not been the biggest bully there. So people don't treat me that way.
There's something there too, yeah.
No, but I've had conversations. I've got one friend, she gets walked on by literally everyone. Her family's so mean to her, people at work are so mean to her. She describes conversations with me and I was like, I can't even imagine a single scenario where anyone would say that to me.
Works?
Just coworkers, family members.
No,
yeah, horse. Yeah. Because just the way that she lets people treat her and stuff, I'm like, I literally can't imagine it. Like, I would just actively kill someone immediately if they spoke to me that way. And everyone who knows me knows that. Like,
see, I'm not the only one that jumps to that first.
No, but I'm serious. I'm like, just sometimes when she tells me a story, I literally cannot imagine going through life and just letting people say or do this to me.
Well, and it's not even just like one little under-the-breath quip. It's
well, that's
like
what I mean, though. So maybe if Georgia and Billy are that committed to never putting her in her place, but that's why someone like Harry is very much like, no, people don't treat me that way because I kill them. I pull out a gun.
Did you have to talk to her that way? Yeah, once my mouth was open and my lips started moving, it was pretty much inevitable.
He pulls up a camera if he could.
I get it, and I know what Billy is saying here too. It's like,
I do.
Deal with it, man. It's not your fucking. It's like, we have to deal with this.
This isn't some fucking villain of the week who nobody is going to interact with. Yeah.
And I get that, but at the same time, okay, I work a customer service job. I can't always tell people off when they're stupid as fuck, but I wonder, and I'm like, if you just had one person in your family that was brave enough to tell you to shut the fuck up, you wouldn't be my problem right now. And there's so many of them that like that. And I'm like, all you need is one person in your life to be like, no, you're wrong. That's actually not what you're supposed to do, you fucking stupid ass person. And I'm honored to be that person in your guys' life. And I'm saving you from the rest of the world, or I'm saving the world from you guys and your blunders so that you may be better people.
I would just like to clarify for the rest of you, all of you out there in podcast land, it takes more than one person once. This is hardcore dedication. You need to start in their youth and constantly bully them all the way through their life because one time is not going to do it.
What's that syndrome where you like end up
Stockholm?
Yes.
A little bit, but all I'm saying is I have come across these people too, and you can tell them they're fucking idiots.
On Friday, Pat was actually making a point to say, you talk about Jess with such fondness. It's almost like you actually like her.
That's the gaslighting, Pat. I've been working on it for a while.
That's how you Stockholm properly. But seriously, yeah, because well, again, you've got that friend, and you did like a 6-week trip with her. Did it fix her? Because she
I'd like to think it did.
She didn't get that. Okay, you recently. How did that go? You had a weekend trip. You didn't even have 6 days. And you came back with almost as many stories.
That's true, but I wasn't relentless against her. If I'd continued for years and years,
this is my point. Consistency matters, people. You can't just bully someone once.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
That's very fair.
Systematic trauma.
She's like, if just one person had ever stood up to them once.
Okay.
It can take only one person, but it has to be many, many times. You either need a lot of people doing it a lot or one person that's very consistent.
Okay, let me rephrase everything I was going to say. What I mean to say is that I totally understand why Billy is like, bro, you don't have to deal with this. You never have to deal with her again. We have to deal with this. You should let it be handled the way we want to handle it. I get that. On the other hand, if you've been relentlessly bullying her for all these years, Billy, Harry wouldn't have to step in.
When this started. Well, really, it's on Georgia. I don't know. Yes. I don't know when this woman came into being in her life.
But just knowing the way that Georgia is that I very much imagine it almost like more like a Cinderella tale or something like that, where like this like evil stepmother comes in, she's just so evil, and you've got Cinderella who's like, I literally don't give a fuck, bro. I'm just like living my life sort of thing. Where like I don't imagine Georgia was ever like caught up in the drama of like, I don't want a stepmom and I hate you. I just imagine Georgia was just like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna live my life. And then this woman's just like evil the whole time.
There are some books out there that or at least a book that I'm particularly referring to that
Snow White?
No, it's a psychology book. That you raise your opposite. So if you're like, you don't give anybody rules at all, you raise militant like children that like want to stick to rules. But if you are also like the Iron Fist, you raise children that are jellyfish that have like no ability to make boundaries for themselves.
And give them no opportunities. They're like, I'm not going to raise my kids like that. And then you have like absolutely no rules for your children, and then they grow up to be militant little bullies. And then their children are like, my mom was fucking scary. I'm going to be so laid back.
Okay, I'd like to really quickly pinpoint, real quick, My mother comes from a family of 7 children and 2 extremely religious people. One of them was a pastor before he went and had 7 children, okay?
Militant jellyfish.
Militant?
I agree.
The first 4 children were in Catholic school and such.
No. Everybody went to Tempo. I'm the only one that left and went to a Catholic high school.
Oh.
Everybody. Well, and then
I
Lorraine.
thought Tempo was Catholic.
No.
Are you saying temple? Or
Tempo.
Okay, sorry. It sounded like temple. I was like,
No,
okay.
Tempo. It's like
Okay.
totus.
I don't care.
Maximum
Point is
officium
that
parentum.
it was a private school for apparently not Catholics,
taught
but really
Latin.
It was basically
We
a
taught
Catholic
Latin.
school.
We had a uniform. We said the Our Father, but we were not a Catholic school. We were a separate school.
And my point is that the oldest one, most religious guy on this planet. The second one, horrible devil child.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
Then the third one, most religious girl on this planet. And then the fourth one, my mother, smoking at like 12. Horrible person.
But no drugs.
Pregnant at 19.
But
Kicked
no
out
drugs.
of school.
Which you're
But
thankful
no
for.
drugs.
You were thankful for.
I was not kicked out.
So, I don't know.
We all remember this story differently.
Well, you should listen to my version of events because I was there. I saw.
What's funny is that you told me the story and I still remember it differently. Ooh,
I did recently.
we're on a rambling roll today.
I
folks.
did recently find my grade 11 high school ID card, though. And in those days, it was like typewritten and laminated and like a cutout picture slapped onto that thing. These guys had like credit card IDs and shit with like fingerprint lasers and retina scans.
It's true.
That's because they hadn't had any school shootings yet in your time.
yeah. We didn't have the technology then either back in my day, but yeah.
I just didn't care who
you
you were
just,
back then.
you just
Yeah,
shivved somebody and moved on.
It's like literally like the slightly slanted print because it was like literally a business card typed on a typewriter, you know? Yeah, I definitely go to this school. This is official.
Who would fake this?
Who could possibly?
No one else wants to be here.
No one else has a wonky O like our typewriter, so you can tell this is. But yeah, grade 11 was a while ago.
That's just my point, though, is that it's just so crazy to me that I get Billy's point, but I feel I'm more on Dresden on this one. I was like, hey, you know what? You have an opportunity to be rude to someone who deserves it. You take all those opportunities.
I do. I appreciate it just for the sake that I'm a little bit more Billy in this sense and I'm like, I don't always take the
that's why you get walked
opportunity. Yeah, sometimes.
For the American listening, I think the grade 11 is the junior year. Yeah, freshman, junior, senior.
I think
Yeah,
they still
fresh-
use numbers.
Well, they do that too. But yeah, I think it goes freshman, sophomore, junior,
Oh, I forgot the
senior.
sophomore.
Because they go to grade
Do they?
9.
Oh, do they?
Grade 9, so they go
Well,
freshman,
and I know
sophomore,
that's
junior,
like,
senior.
We do that in college,
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's the way I understand most.
which we usually call university.
Sophomore,
We call
second year.
university or college.
So 10, I guess?
Sophomores, yeah, it goes freshman, sophomore, and
Junior.
then junior and senior.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So yes, if you're going from grade 9, 10, 11, 9 is freshman, 10 is sophomore, 11 is junior, 12 is senior.
What's the etymology on sophomore? Is soft too?
Sophistry. Sophocles?
Sophomore?
Softball?
At first, you sounded like you actually knew what you were talking about,
I
but then you kept going. Oh, this whole thing is like bonus content. We haven't even got to the first break in the chapter. We're close. Let's just wrap up this part and figure out a new title. 'Cause, like, a doppelganged doesn't even make sense yet. We don't even know.
You know what?
Well, call it gold digger.
Okay.
This is what you get. You got to build, and we went for like so long without, and now you're just like making up for lost ground.
Eve McAllister, stepmother-in-law, is upset because Harry is A, extremely tall, and Billy is not, so he's gonna look super
I think
short
it's just
in between.
mother-in-law.
Future
Future mother-in-law.
No, step.
I
Is
never
that-
understood that whole conversation between them. I was like,
Because
what?
she's
None of it makes sense.
She's Georgia's stepmother,
Yeah.
and she's Billy's mother-in-law.
So she's nothing. She's just an asshole.
This is Haley's one. Trophy wife.
Oh, hey.
Gold digger.
You know those words that they're using? I don't get it at all.
You know that one person you have to bully because they're just dumb sometimes?
That's my role on the podcast for both of you. What was that? What was that? Hey, that fun joke.
So
was
I'm
really
gonna edit
funny,
this
Mike.
episode, eh?
Revenge will be swift and brutal.
Veto.
I gotta remember to edit this one.
We're like fighting. Why is this one edited already? Shit.
We release 8 different versions.
Jessica, would you
approve just
Jessica, would you just log out already? I can't get in.
Suddenly the VPN was down. I don't know why.
You bastard.
Oh, good times. Good times. All right. Okay. That makes more sense to why that's funnier.
Okay.
I just thought he was unnecessarily like, why are you being such a...
I don't like you. You're fourth cousin in
She
law
is
now.
not nice, but you're really like going down on...
No going down on this podcast.
I tried to stop.
You didn't,
It was too late. You picked it.
Okay, you intellectual
I'm
wannabe.
inclined to just not edit any of this episode at all. Just like here...
Have we said anything that'll get us canceled? It's fine. I'm sure.
Sophomore
Nothing's made me cringe that hard yet.
from Sophumer, 1650s.
I already
From
said that.
Sophum, an archaic
already
variant
said
of
all that.
sophism, ultimately from Greek sophistes. When did you say that?
You're ready. Now we know what to cut.
No, keep that part. The people know I already said this 5 minutes ago.
I never actually, that's what I thought you were going to, and then you went on about something
Oh,
else, and I was
Lord.
like, oh, she's not. You never said.
I did. I said,
it?
oh yeah, and it means to become wise. Well, that's not a number.
This is just silly. Now I'm definitely not going to edit everything.
Oh
It's
my
just going to
God.
be just us in raw glory. Welcome. This is us naked with clothing on.
I was gonna welcome to McNally's Pubcast. We're doing this one
I think I
in
have the most
raw.
to lose in this point. Like, I've lost my title as the professor.
As long as we just say the word Dresden every 5 minutes, it's still a Dresden Files podcast,
Cool,
okay?
cool.
Now you're just the naked professor.
I think they used that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they use
Yeah,
that.
that sounds like it's been used already.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, research it and find out and tell us like 10 minutes later when we've forgotten what you're looking up.
I meant on the Discord, like they've called you the naked professor.
No, I think
That's what I was referring
No, I think the
to.
naked professor is a copyrighted term already.
Oh, yeah, no, that's separate. That's no, that's not what I was talking about in this context. Because you're like, I'm not going to be the professor.
Eve is also upset because George is missing.
Oh, yeah, she wouldn't answer her phone. Rude.
Which, maybe it's just
Probably
your
the
phone
fault
call,
of this
Eve.
hooligan. Yeah, did you ever think maybe she just doesn't want to
Just try
up?
anyone else's number.
At least she's got a cell phone to be able to
Those
do it with.
hooligans you introduced her to probably kept her out all night. Ugh. This woman's terrible.
She's pretty awful.
You have a hole in your underwear. Stupid dignity. Oh.
Which I don't have anymore.
Okay, so listen, I would much rather be called a gold digger than like a bed warmer. Why is
right.
gold digger the one that makes her lose it?
99 problems. And gold digger is maybe one.
I don't know.
Like-
Maybe as a bed warmer, you still have some intrinsic value because you at least have to be desirable enough for them to want you to warm their bed. Whereas gold
yes,
digger
goodness.
is like you're just there. I don't know.
The midlife. I think the midlife crisis byproduct is probably the one I'd cringe most at.
Yeah.
Also mean mistress made good. Like all of them,
I
gold
guess-
digger honestly seems like the trophy wife. Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Well, I was gonna say. I guess he doesn't necessarily mean it's the worst. He does just say, when in doubt, go with the classic and go right. Just just in case you're not smart enough. Like, who knows? Maybe she doesn't,
Am I going too
get
fast
what a
for you?
bed warmer is or something.
It's a brick that you've had in the fire all day, and then you put it between your sheets before you go to bed. Everyone knows that.
Could be a hot water bottle.
Not Harry. You can't use that technology.
He can't use a heating pad. He can use a hot water bottle.
Well, it's a pilot light on a hot water. Like he should
You
be
can
able
boil
to have
the
hot
water in the fireplace and pour it into the.
Functionally, it's just a flame that it runs off
He's
of,
gonna
right?
spill it all over the
Maybe.
place. He doesn't know how to funnel it, obviously.
You know what, Jessica? I don't think he's calling Eve a brick. I don't think that's
He's
what
calling her a hot water bottle? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Be
no,
realistic
that's my point. is-
Going straight to the literal we are, yes.
He didn't actually have a crocodile smile, okay, Harry? This isn't Hogwarts. He can't do transfiguration, okay?
Billy, being the very good future husband that he is concerned about this wedding because it matters to Georgia. Georgia wants her fairy tale wedding, okay? And if you make Eve evil more than normal, you're gonna have a bad wedding, Harry, so fuck off. Why today of all days? And then Harry's all like, oh, yeah, I guess I was kind of a dick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess other people have to live with these consequences, not just me. Whoops.
Oopsies. And you think for a guy who, like, really lives with the consequences of his actions, like, he really lives with the consequences, you think sometimes he would care more and be like,
Yeah,
I
right.
should. Like, karma doesn't necessarily hits everyone, but Harry surely at this point.
How's your hand, Harry? Got anything to remind you of all the shit you've been through?
Every day he wakes up, he's like, what's the worst that could happen here on out? How much worse could it possibly get?
You just keep on asking, Harry, and Butcher will keep on answering. So yes. Okay, well now I'm worried. What? She's not here? She's late? She's not answering? Hey, best man fill-in last-minute guy. Want to go see where George is? Sure. It's only 3 hours till the wedding. We got lots of time. Fuck, man, I didn't have time for shit on my wedding day.
I was gonna say, I was like, 3 hours does not sound like enough time for anything at all, but do you have fun out there?
No, and they're still just fitting him for this extra long talk.
They better be paying that tailor, like, buku bucks. Not that he would know. We can't speak English as I say, you know?
Just tap your card, please. Don't ask the price. Tap, tap, tap. Did they have tap in 2006?
Yes.
Okay.
No, tap. Not tap. Probably not tap.
Yeah, I'm sure they had debit cards. I want to know if they had tap. I'm pretty sure there's only been tap as long as I've
I think you had to insert it and put the pin, but I don't think that
Yes.
Yeah.
the EFT or NFT was in effect yet.
Yeah, because you would have only been like 9 then. And yeah, you had, because I remember when tap came into effect and I was like, that is the worst thing. Jessica needs to get them to deactivate it immediately because she loses her card every second day. So if somebody could just pick up her card and go buy shit, I was like, no.
Yeah.
So for you to be carrying your own bank card.
So I guess I did have one for a little while before tap existed, but no.
You did have one for a little while before tap existed. But yeah, so 2006, it probably did not yet. However.
It's true. And I was like 20. I went to get another card and I asked them, I was like, can you see how many cards I've had? She's like, yes. And I was like, how many? And she's like, it's a lot.
She lost them.
To be fair, in adulthood, like
frequently.
basically since that conversation, I've really never lost one. It's only when it expired and I got a new one.
Damn.
But like, yeah,
Finally
like
shamed you into
throughout like junior high and high school, I did go through like a new card a month, basically.
See, not only can Harry grow, so can you.
Yeah.
And she complains about it. She can't even hang on to a debit card, but Harry's supposed to just, know all of the world's solutions, just like that.
He wants to be the hero or not.
This concludes our episode 16.1, Gold Digger. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling, conjured by it at your own risk.